and we continue here on Boxing During Dinner. The Don King Sunshine State Showdown this Friday, and here on Boxing During Dinner with us is Al Bonanni, Director of Boxing for Don King Productions, and also a great trainer. Has had, you know, Freddie Pendleton, Taboris Cloud, many others. Welcome to Boxing During Dinner.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me. This is my favorite place in the Gables, RANDAZZO'S. I love him. I know him when he used to fight. I know his father from Chicago, so good people, and it's great to be here.
It's a good excuse.
And next to the meatballs, you're next. That's why I'm here.
Exactly. And
not bad to be second place to that.
Now we got a great card, and it's not just because, you know, I'm teasing the hell out of this card, and I want people to go. I do want people to go because it's a great boxing card for the boxing fan.
Yes.
We have Omar Henry, who's one of the top prospects at 154.
Yes.
Fighting Juan Ubaldo Cabrera in a 160-pound fight, and we also got Angelo Santana, who I think is one of the top 5 Cuban fighters today, fighting Juan Johnny Garcia, who just beat Yordenis Ugas. That's the televised card. Then, of course, you got Joey Hernandez on the undercard. This is one hell of a card you guys have put together.
Well, you know, it got better because originally there was a contract between James De La Rosa and Omar Henry at 148 pounds. And then Omar tried to change the contract. Honestly, I always tell the truth, to 154 pounds, and James De La Rosa went along with it, but then he had a mysterious injury, so we were stuck, and then
that never happens in boxing.
And I had to come up with something, and Dana Jameson, the vice president, said, "What about Cabrera, who just fought in Venezuela for us? We had a show in Venezuela." So I didn't think that Omar Henry would take it, because I'll be honest with you, this Juan Ubaldo Cabrera is a very tall, lanky, real middleweight.
And he's a 160-pounder, yeah.
And Omar's really a 154-pounder. And here's two young guys in their prime, you know, fighting each other. And Cabrera can punch. He really can punch. So the main event got better. I mean, you know, and they're fighting really for pride more than money, because ShoBox don't pay. ShoBox, you don't pay. You don't deserve this fight. If Don King was here, he'd tell you. I'm telling you as the matchmaker, you don't deserve this fight.
Al Bonanni speaking the truth.
This is good, and I'm glad that you guys can hear it here.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's gonna fight a guy like Cabrera. Omar Henry's a good fighter, you know, he needs to prove himself at 154, 160, and he's an exciting fighter. He's a fighter that comes from all angles.
Yes. And so what you have is speed and an abundance of punching, which is Omar Henry, and then you have the strength and the power puncher of Cabrera. So it's going to be a great fight.
One of the things that I noticed, and this is interesting to me, is in Henry's last fight that we saw at the Hollywood Hard Rock, he fought a guy who was fighting at 147 coming up to 54. Now he's fighting a guy in the opposite direction. He's going all the way up to 160. Henry threw everything he had at this guy in the last fight and couldn't knock him out. That, to me, is an interesting thing, because I've always thought of Henry as a power puncher, and his record indicates that he is. But he's more the speedster here, and now he's going up against the bigger guy. I think both of these guys, like you've alluded to, are really in for an interesting kind of fight.
Well, Omar Henry, to me, is not a one-punch fighter. You know, I make the matches, I look, but he can hit you with 6-7 punch combinations, and that's how he gets the guys out of there. He's going to have to use that ability, the natural ability and speed that he has against Cabrera. Cabrera is a one-punch knockout fighter, and a lot of times he's a little slow. He's slow to get off, so he's going to have to really use that speed. And then you mentioned Santana, a guy that I made all the matches for, so I take credit for it. No,
you should.
Except for one match, the only match. No, that's over there. That's Joey Hernandez. He's eating fish, if you want to know.
Joey is on weight.
And vegetables, you know, which. But anyway, I had the meatballs, great, and the sausage, it was great. But anyway, getting back to Angelo, yeah. And, you know, I watched Angelo progress, and that's the whole thing about, you know, when you're developing kids, that's what we try to do. And Angelo is in our stable, and he slowly got better and better, but he keeps knocking guys out. There's only one guy that went the distance with him, if I remember correctly, a tough Mexican in Las Vegas that was a substitute. This kid Garcia is a good fighter, but I think that Angelo is going to knock him out. I'm saying that, you know, I don't want to ruin the fight card, but I just
everybody's
think that
got a chance to
Angelo,
make a prediction.
Right,
Sure.
and Garcia's a tough fighter. I saw him when he fought Yordenis Ugas, who's also a Cuban. So he's going to have that stigma as the Cuban killer. Ugas was a bronze medalist from Cuba. A guy who's also been on Boxing During Dinner, very good fighter, and Garcia was able to beat him. So this isn't going to be an easy fight for Angelo Santana, but Santana's a talented kid, like Al was saying, very talented kid, and he's just right on the precipice of becoming a top contender, fighting for a world title. How close is he to fighting for one of the titles in boxing at the lightweight division?
You know, they're already talking about putting him in for a title shot. He's rated by one or two of the organizations. I would like to see him. I've been trying to find somebody to go the distance with him again so he can get more experience. But unfortunately, I don't think this kid has to really be on his, like we used to say, his P's and Q's to stick around, because Angelo starts off like a rocket.
Yeah.
He comes at you and he's the southpaw and he throws bombs. And I don't know if this kid has ever been in with a kid that punches like this, you know, honestly. But if the fight should go 5 or 6 rounds, then we see.
It becomes interesting.
You know, but I just don't see it. I mean, I watched some sparring of his. I was with Manny the Wiz, his manager, and he showed me some footage of the sparring. What I like to do is go out to the gyms and go out in the street and watch. I didn't get a chance to see him, but I watched the video, and he looks terrific. And HBO's talking about him possibly next, you know, for the 35-pound division is really, I don't think, is it Broma that's 35 or he's 30?
Bromer is fighting DeMarco on Saturday.
They're 130 though.
And Richard Abreu's in that division as well, and another fellow Cuban.
Yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities there at
And that's a good
135.
fight with Abreu. Abreu is a very tall, lanky boxer.
Good boxer.
Right.
Good boxer, and that could be a good fight to have here in South Florida.
Why not? I'd love it.
And then you have my nephew, who's eating at the other table, Joey Hernandez. I was at his baptism.
7 years ago.
Absolutely incredible. And then he was, of course, I ran the boxing program at Tropical Park in 27th Avenue boxing for years before you guys were born. And he was an amateur in that program. Very, very talented boxer, you know, and the people don't realize, they don't give him the credit. But I've been very, very careful of making his matches, and I want him also to do well and to make money. Now, you know, the thing is, when you fight for this ShoBox money, you don't get paid. And you're in a dogfight because they want tough fights. Yeah. Like they're doing you a favor. And I haven't put Joey in that match yet, you know, because they're going to have to pay.
Right.
They're going to have to pay some soldi, we say in Italian, or dinero, as we say in Spanish. Or else Showtime, ShoBox, HBO. And I did the same thing with Cloud. Cloud was never seen on TV. I kept him in the dark, and I trained Cloud. I keep him in the dark, and he kept saying, when? I said, not yet. Because a fighter learns more in the gym, and he matures. It takes time. You can't rush him into the title fight. You know, a lot of people are worried about Santana for that very reason. And, you know, the fight really, even though he's a great puncher, he still doesn't have the experience of rounds like Joey does.
Right.
So, and this is something that, you know, I'm trying to do with Joey. I did it with Cloud. I was able to keep him off TV and keep him in the dark, like I say. And then when he came about fighting on TV, everybody didn't have an idea who he was. There was no footage on him.
Yep.
Who is this guy? You know, and then he came in, everybody said, holy Christmas. You know, that's not what they said, but I can't use the other word.
Right.
So, holy Christmas, where did this kid come from?
So this Friday night we'll see possibly 2 careers get catapulted. Omar Henry, Angelo Santana. Joey Hernandez, of course, we know he's a great fighter. He's right there knocking on the door of a world title fight.
And we also have a great 140-pounder here that's unknown, named Iman.
Very good fighter. I've seen him quite a few times.
Who's fighting 6 rounds, and we have
Trevor Bryan, the heavyweight.
And we have Isaiah Augustama, the Haitian sensation. I know about Haitians now. You can see the one over there. That's she's with me.
So I'm like Don King now.
And that's what I feel the same thing. I feel like
only in America. Hey, you know we forget too. Gulfstream Park, which is sponsoring this, is doing a great job. It's a new venue. They came up with the cabbage, with the scarole, as we say in
ShoBox
Italian.
didn't do.
and they're coming up with the money. And if it wasn't for their money, we wouldn't have this fight. And
so Al Bonanni endorses Gulfstream.
Park.
That's ShoBox Gulfstream. So head out to Gulfstream on Friday.
Friday, see it live.
Try to see it
and they
live.
have a wonderful casino. They have full casino and
restaurant, shops, you know.
It's terrific.
Great.
Awesome destination.
Terrific place, Gulfstream Park. All my friends.
They don't have amazing meatballs though. For that,
You gotta come to RANDAZZO'S.
You come to RANDAZZO'S for that.
The meatballs. Meatballs and sausage and pasta. This is the place to go.
Fights Gulfstream, food RANDAZZO'S.
So exactly, fights Gulfstream, food RANDAZZO'S, and we'll see you this Friday night at Gulfstream.